representing the BPU, and that's longtime public servant Mary Gonzalez. Welcome to the committee, Mary. Pleasure to have you. Okay, before I call the meeting to order, I want to announce that some committee members, staff, and the public are attending remotely via Zoom as well as on site. All participants joining by phone should mute their phones when not speaking to avoid background noise. During the meeting, please make sure that you announce yourself by name and title every time you speak, so the public that is observing knows who is speaking. When speaking, be sure to speak directly into a microphone so that all comments are heard and the record of the meeting is accurate. This is critical given the number of remote participants and is current guidance from the Kansas Attorney General. The public is allowed to participate by Zoom or submit comments by email prior to the meeting, and those comments will be included in the record of this meeting. The public may also indicate their intent to provide remote public comment by contacting the clerk's office by noon the day of the meeting. The public will also have an opportunity to provide brief comments, either via telephone or Zoom from the 5th floor conference room of the municipal office building. Public comment will be allowed during each agenda item. Comments should be limited to the item at hand and per the commission rules of procedure. They should not include any rude or derogatory remarks, reflections as to integrity, abusive comments, and statements as to motives and personalities. I will now call the meeting of the Public Works and Safety Standing Committee for Monday, January 27th, 2025 to order, and would ask the clerk to please call roll.
Roll call. Gonzalez. Here. Lopez.
Here.
Burns.
Here.
Stites. We have an absence memo. Kane.
Aye, here.
Burrows.
Here. Thank you, committee. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Committee, we have 3 items this evening, but before we drill into those, I'll ask the clerk if there's any revisions for tonight.
No revisions to the agenda.
Thank you. And the first order of business is approval of our minutes from January 22nd, 2024 and February 26th, 2024. Is there a motion for approval? So moved. We do have a motion and a second for approval of the minutes of January 22nd and February 26th of 2024. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Roll call. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Lopez.
Here. Or aye.
Burns.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, committee. That takes us to our first item. As I stated, we have 3 action items this evening. The first item is a resolution. It deals with assistance to firefighters grants. It is approving a grant request to the Federal Emergency Management Agency for a total of $148,812 through the Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program. There is 10% local match required, but I'll recognize Chief Dennis Rubin from our fire department to make the presentation. Chief, welcome.
Thank you so much, Chair and committee members. Dennis Rubin, Fire Department. We'd like to seek your permission to move forward with an item that deals with a pretty important topic, and that is for us to continue our command level training program. What we will be able to do of the 10% match, which is $14,881, is to take it out of our basic training budget. But rather than teach a few, we'll be able to teach all of our fire captains, all battalion chiefs and above, so that we'll get very, very close to having the entire department understanding and working through the NIMS, the National Incident Management System process. And finally, with this grant, we will be empowered to start teaching that ourselves. Currently, we use Bonner Springs as well as Olathe, and other fire departments in turn would soon be able to use ours if this grant was approved, if this grant was provided by the federal government and we were able to implement it, sir.
Committee, any questions? Commissioner Burns, please.
Chief, I read in there where this is basically for the World Cup training.
It's part of the World Cup training. The National Incident Management System obligation has been put on governments for about the past 15 years, and this will allow us to get close to compliance. Anytime we operate, we're supposed to use that system. And even more importantly, when we go outside of our boundaries, we had a significant house fire in Leavenworth 2 days ago. And for us to be able to speak the same language The incident command system, also known as the National Incident Management System, is the language, if you will. So that'll allow us to come in compliance with that.
And what happens if you don't get the grant?
If we don't get the grant, we'll continue down that path. It'll be much slower, sir. We have started this journey virtually since the week or two after I got here with the training funds that were typically allowed. We would direct our $14,881 to continue the process. But instead of teaching nearly 100 or 150 and becoming our own training facility, we would probably be able to teach about 14 or 15 new members that they don't have the training.
This is Mary Gonzalez from the BPU. So is there a budget item that this match would come from if they would get the grant?
I believe the chief stated he would take it out of the present resources out of another training fund that they have. So there would be no required match from us as a
From us.
commission out of our general budget.
Thanks.
No new money is necessary. And again, that's the money that's already been earmarked for this project. But instead of taking about 6 or 7, 8 years to get it done and not becoming our own training center, this would get us caught up and be able to move forward within actually the next government fiscal year. This grant would not be approved until October if this austere body agrees to move it forward and the commission agrees.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So refresh my memory. Are you from Philadelphia?
Oh, no, sir. Sorry, sir.
Oh, I thought you were.
I'm a native son of Washington.
Oh,
I grew up in Northeast Washington. I was told by my boss to keep it quick, but I lived in Northeast Washington until my family moved in the early 60s.
just testing you.
I know. Very proud of my city.
Any other questions or comments from the committee? Mr. Kane?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
just glad he's not a Buffalo Bills fan.
That's for sure. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll ask the clerk if there are any comments received from the public.
No comments were received.
I'll ask the clerk, is there anyone online from the public who wishes to make a comment?
There are no hands raised.
Thank you. Is there anyone appearing here in person who would like to address this item? Let the record show no one stepped forward. Thank you. I would now entertain a motion to approve a grant for $148,812 for the fire department. I believe it's $133,931 with a match of $14,881 at no cost to us.
Move for approval.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Roll call. Gonzalez,
Aye.
Lopez,
Aye.
Burns.
Aye.
Kane,
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, committee. That takes us to item number 2, a resolution approval of fiscal year 2026 Adult Community Corrections, Kansas Department of Corrections grant. There are no funds, no local funds match required. I will recognize Phil Lockman from our Community Corrections Department to make the presentation. Welcome, Mr. Lockman.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Phil Lockman, Director of Department of Community Corrections. This is just our annual process. We get 2 main grants from the Kansas Department of Corrections. On the adult side, this is the 50th year that we'll be receiving money. And on the juvenile side, it'll be the 28th year. It's an unusual program in that it's not the traditional idea of what you think of a grant being. These programs are established by Kansas statute and have to exist in every county. And it's more of a transfer of money from the Department of Corrections to the local county to manage the programs that we're required to provide and participate in. On the adult side, that's going to be this year. They're preliminarily, they have told us that we are going to receive and to budget for the same amount we received this year, and that would be $1.9 million. On the juvenile side, it's $2.5 million. And almost all of our money we receive, we're just very highly personnel loaded. So about 90% of all the money we receive goes towards personnel positions. But there's no local match or requirement on these grants. And I would stand if there are any questions about anything.
Committee, any questions? Any comments? Thank you. Mr. Lockman, have we ever been turned down on these grant requests like this?
No, it's more a matter of how much money are they going to give us? And their formulas, because it's divided amongst 31 programs in the state of Kansas on the adult and about 27 programs on the juvenile side. And we've done, I mean, just to put it in reference, when I came here in 1995, our budget on adult was 1.7 million. And prior, we just received a bump up to the 1.9 a year or two ago, but prior to that, it was about 1.7. So you can imagine over time, the amount of less resources we have for treatment services, educational services, and just basically keeping an eye on the offenders and working with them.
This is the 28th year.
For the juvenile and the 50th for the adult.
Wow. These are two different grants that we're talking about.
Correct.
We will take the first grant first of the 1.9 million, and then we'll do the juvenile grant at 2.5. But I do have a question for Commissioner Lopez.
Mr. Lopez, District 6. Hey, does this grant money help our sheriff's department in our jail?
I think that, and this is, there's a lot of people get disturbed when they think, oh, well, we have to do these programs that the state should be doing. But a big part in the theory behind the Community Corrections Grant Act, when it was initially put into place in the 70s, was the idea that to reduce people going to jail, but also to be responsive to local community and try to impact and work better and closer with both all of the legal judicial entities, the district attorney, police. But one of the main things that we help with is jail overpopulation. The people we have, when I came here in 95, we sent about 65% of all of our adult felons to prison, is how they left the program. Today, that's less than 20%. And that has an enormous amount of impact on the jail population because those people aren't sitting in jail waiting to go to prison. And they're not going to be cycling back through from prison and sitting there waiting with a parole hold when they come out. And so it really works good with that. On the juvenile side, the juvenile grant directly pays for the juvenile intake and assessment center that the sheriff is responsible for. And I want to say that's roughly about 300,000 and some change. Part of the juvenile grant is it pays for that.
So $1,934,558.91, no match required. That 1.9, that money goes exactly to like programs?
On our adult side, about 90% of it goes to personnel, and that's our probation officers. We have cognitive education. We have contracts for providing treatment services, and also feeds into our drug court. And so that's the main thing is we try to do the things that can try to help make the people we supervise more responsible citizens and also be able to successfully complete their probation.
So like said it, I'm sorry, I lost it. Sorry, you just said his position. I just, that it goes towards, but,
Yeah.
Does it pay his payroll? Or does it just, or when there's education programs and needs to go to be updated on education, it pays for that schooling or wherever you got to send him?
Well, we're not paying.
Probation officer, that's it.
Yeah. It really, the bulk of the budget goes towards pay and benefits for our officers and staff. And the rest of the money, which is very limited, probably, the main expenditures are for drug testing the offenders, treatment services for offenders, and cognitive education programming, which helps. It's a way to work with people, not just offenders, but if you went to a psychotherapist or a psychologist, they really do a lot of cognitive education with you. And what a big part of that is trying to educate people and how they should respond to things that come up in their life. I mean, a lot of our folks, their boss yells at them, they say, heck with you, and throw their stuff down and walk out. Well, there's other ways you can handle that situation. And so that's the kind of stuff we work with is trying to get the low level and medium level people and try to get them adjusted and to where they can stay stable enough and drug free and alcohol free enough that they can keep jobs and become good, reliable citizens.
So this basically I don't even know what a proper word for it is, but I would call it a halfway house. So would that fund that?
No, we have no residential, but we use our money to pay for, as an example, we call it emergency stabilization housing. When we have an offender that is, especially ones that go to inpatient treatment and they come out, they usually don't have a job. They don't have a place to live. And so we work with Oxford houses, which are group living, volunteer addicts in recovery. And they run their own little houses and that. And so we pay for perhaps 4 to 6 weeks of them staying there, which is about $110 a week. And then that person has time enough to get a job, start paying their own money, taking that over, and then hopefully migrate out of that structured environment to their own residence. But we have no residential. Johnson County and Sedgwick County both have residential.
Okay.
Committee, any other questions? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk if there are any comments received from the public.
No comments were received.
Thank you. I'll ask if anyone online, in the public, wishes to make a comment.
There are no hands raised.
Thank you. I'll ask if there's anyone here appearing on the fifth floor who would care to comment on this item. Let the record show no one step forward. Thank you. Committee, we're going to take these down individually. I will run through the same scenario of allowing the public to speak on the next item. These were both kind of put together in the presentation. So I'd entertain a motion for item number 1, the 1.9 million.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the grant approval of 1.934558.91. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Roll call. Gonzalez,
Aye.
Lopez,
Aye.
Burns,
Aye.
Kane,
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, committee. That takes us to the next grant, which is the Juvenile Community Corrections Grant. And we've had the discussion on it. Are there any more comments from the committee or commissioners? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk if there were any comments received from the public.
No comments were received.
Anybody online that wishes to speak to this item?
There are no hands raised.
Thank you. Is there anyone in person on the fifth floor here that would care to speak to these items? Let the record show no one step forward. Committee, I would entertain a motion for approval of 2.5 million.
So moved.
Give you the exact amount. That's 2.506227.84.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second for approval. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Roll call. Gonzalez,
Aye.
Lopez,
Aye.
Burns,
Aye.
Kane,
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, committee. That concludes our meeting this evening. I would entertain a motion to adjourn. I do appreciate everyone's immediate attention on this. Mr. Bachman, before you leave, I'd like to speak with you if I may, before you leave. Thank you. Entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Roll call. Gonzalez,
Aye.
Lopez,
Aye.
Burns,
Aye.
Kane,
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, committee. We are adjourned. Stay please, those here for the Administration and Human Services Standing Committee will be up next. Ms. Gonzalez, thank you for filling in this evening and nice to have you on the committee.
One item. Clerk, are we ready? Okay. I think we're ready to go ahead and get started on our super long agenda. And we do have Commissioner Kane online and Commissioner Davis online, correct?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Is Commissioner Davis here? I can't see him. Okay. I believe he had indicated to me that he would be virtual, but he's not there. I am. We'll wait just 1 second and see if he's going to join. Thanks. Yes, I apologize. He had indicated he'd be virtual, so I wanted to check and see if he was truly going to join or not. We'll just wait another few seconds and then we can go because we do have a quorum. We'll go ahead and get started. And before I call our meeting to order, I want to announce that some of our committee members, and staff, and the public are attending remotely by Zoom, as well as some on site, and all participants joining by phone should please mute your phones when you're not speaking to avoid background noise. During the meeting, we ask that you make sure you announce yourself by name and title when you speak so the public that is observing knows who's speaking. And when you are speaking, please be sure to speak directly into a microphone so that your comments are heard and the record of the meeting is accurate. This is critical given the number of remote participants and its current guidance from the Kansas Attorney General. The public's allowed to participate by Zoom or submit comments by email prior to the meeting, and those comments are included in the record of our meeting. The public may also indicate their intent to provide remote public comment by contacting our clerk's office by noon on the day of the meeting. The public has the opportunity to provide brief comments either by telephone or Zoom or from the fifth floor conference room here in public. Public comment is allowed during each agenda item, and comments should be limited to the item at hand. And per the commission rules of procedure, should not include any rude or derogatory remarks, reflections as to integrity, abusive comments, and statements as to motivations and personalities. It is Public Works and Safety Standing Committee for Monday, January 27. Excuse me, it is not Public Works and Safety. It is Administration and Human Services for Monday, January 27, 2025. And I would ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Roll call. Hill, we have an absence memo. Davis. Lopez,
Here.
subbing for Commissioner Ramirez. Kane,
here,
Bynum,
Here. And we have Commissioner Burns subbing for Commissioner Hill. And I want to thank the two commissioners for staying a few extra minutes to help us make sure we do have a quorum for this business tonight. Our first order of business is approval of minutes from October 23rd, 2023, and November 27, 2023, January 22nd, 2024, and February 26, 2024. So we have 4 sets of minutes. Is there a motion to approve, please?
Move.
And a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. If I could have roll call.
Roll call, Burns,
Aye.
Davis, sorry, Lopez,
Aye.
Kane. Kane,
Aye.
Bynum,
Aye.
motion carries.
Thank you very much. We have one item, and it is a resolution for the adoption of a resolution for approval to submit a one-year grant requesting $87,000 to support the work of the Wyandotte County Health Equity Task Force. There is no match required. And I will recognize Wesley McCain with our Health Department. Wesley, to bring us a brief presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Wesley McCain, I am the Community Health Manager at the Health Department. The Health Department established a Health Equity Task Force during COVID. We had, as the virus was spreading around our community, we were seeing that the spread, who it was spreading to and who it was killing was different depending on the race and culture that the person was from. And so we pulled together a lot of people from a lot of different faith-based organizations and clinics and neighborhoods to try and figure out how we could understand that better and how we could take action on it. And so we did that. It was a very effective group. We did we did a lot of events in the community with those partners. A lot of churches stepped up to have events that helped vaccinate and test people in their parking lots. We had neighborhood organizations that did a lot of things. We had a lot of groups from that stood up a lot of great events. And as the pandemic wind down, the group began to look at other health disparities in our community and said, hey, this is a really good model for looking especially at healthcare services and, okay, what communities in our county have what healthcare clinical needs, and then how could we come together and keep partnering to put those services in front of them. And so, but that committee was, that group and all that work was funded through the American Rescue Plan. And so those funds ended this last year. And thankfully, there was in the philanthropic community, specifically the Wyandotte Health Foundation, and then the Hall Family Foundation, which is the grant that's in front of you today. There was also a desire to keep that work going. So,
Leslie, I'm so sorry to
yes.
interrupt
Yeah,
you.
of course.
Commissioner Davis is asking for the link to join the meeting. If we could stop for just a moment so that he can join. Are we able to send that?
He's on.
Excellent. Thank you. Please proceed.
Yeah, of course. So this is a grant that we wrote and submitted, and that the Hall Family Foundation we found out has awarded to us. So we need to go through this process before we are able to accept the funds. But it will allow for us to keep our staff position helping with that committee, and then it also importantly provides $40,000 to continue the neighborhood-based clinic work, which is really a big core of that work, which is where we pull a lot of different partners together to really bring those services to people who might not have health insurance, might not know how to get to the doctor, maybe it's far away. So it's really, really great. We did a lot of events last year. And so there's no match. Excited about this. And the only thing I wanted to add, my development officer he wanted me to add that this is a private foundation, and he just wanted to remind the committee that private foundations, even though we are a public entity, in some instances where there's a good fit, private funding sources will fund the work of the unified government. And so this was one case in which it was a private foundation that thought this was a great project, and we went after it. And so he just wanted to point that out.
Thank you so much. Are there, I should go in order here. Clerk, do we have any online comments from the public?
No comments were received.
And anyone online asking to comment?
There are no hands raised.
And is there anyone in the audience here tonight that wants to comment? Okay, and comments from our committee. Commissioner Lopez.
Just a quick question, Commissioner Lopez, District 6. Hall Foundation, is that funded through donations and things like that?
You know, I don't know exactly. I do know that there's a family, there's a Kansas City family that I think founded the fund or the charity, and I think some of the wealth of that family was put in there, and that's how the donations come from.
I would
I know that. As far as other ways that they raise money,
I would
not-
agree with that as far as the Hall family. It's Hallmark.
right. That's-
So,
oh, okay.
yeah,
That's right.
it's
Yeah.
it's a family foundation.
Got you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good question. Other questions or comments? I have a question that I want to ask legal if it can pertain. Because I know that in the news, we're reading constantly about our TB outbreak. Can some of this money be, or I guess I should say, is that some of what we're finding as we do this community-based health work? Are we finding some of that? Is that fair?
Commissioner, this is Z Bishop from the Unified Government Legal Department. The state of Kansas KDHE is handling the tuberculosis outbreak in Wyandotte County. And so my understanding is that this funding would be used for other projects.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, other questions or comments? If not, I would take a motion to approve.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have a hand raised with Commissioner Davis.
Yes, thank you, Chairwoman. Just wanted to thank our health department for the hard work that they're doing and the Hall Family Foundation. I think, as we really work to try to find other ways to continue to provide services and programming outside of property taxes, outside of fees, it's really exciting to see philanthropy come in and help us out. So just thankful to our staff and to the foundation. And I'll second that if it has been seconded.
Excellent, and thank you for that comment, and I ditto those remarks to the work of the health department. We do have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Roll call. Burns,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Lopez,
Aye.
Kane,
Aye.
Bynum.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, and that concludes our meeting, and I would entertain a motion to
Kane,
adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Burns,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Lopez,
Aye.
Kane,
Aye.
Bynum.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.